The BumbleKast is for entertainment purposes only. The host's comments and opinions, and those of their guests, are wholly their own and do not represent that of any other entity. Content is provided as is, with no guarantees of accuracy or timeliness.
Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
I am, in fact, joining you, as always. Literally. Literally. All practically always.
Rare occasion where it's not you, but, you know, it's usually you.
Guess what? I'm still here. I'm just not talking on the few times that's happened. That's the secret.
Secret sneak attack, Kyle.
Yep, I'm still here. I'm still sneaking. Anyway, what's up? What's going on?
Too much and none of it good. So let's just get to our questions from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Okay. Alolan Figment is going to start us off. If Beerus and Whis existed in our world, how would you convince them to not destroy our planet? Food isn't an option.
Oh, we're dead then. Like, the only thing that won Beerus over was the delicacies of Earth. And Whis is pretty much there just to let him do his own thing. I don't know what Whis is supposed to do outside of, like, be coy. If food's out of the question, I got nothing. Are
these guys supposed to be named, like, beer and whiskey? Is that like the
wine? But yeah,
wine. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All the gods of destruction and their patron angels are named after alcoholic drinks, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Because I think Beerus's brother is Champa or Champagne.
Champagne, yeah.
And it's silly, but that's Dragon Ball for you.
Yes, Dragon Ball is very silly. Good. All right, Andrew D has a question. Anti-Mega Man's world returns to normal after the events of Anti-Worlds Collide. We resume where we left off with Anti-Roll shot by Anti-Breakman. Anti-Ramoon betrays Anti-Dr. Wily, takes control of the Robot Masters, and causes a worldwide blackout. Wow, that's like the only... Robot Masters is the only thing not preceded by Anti in this universe, apparently. They're not Anti-Robot Masters. They're still Robot Masters. Weird. How did these events play out up to the end of Blackout, the Curse of Ramoon, where Anti-Dr. Wily shows up on Anti-Dr. Light's doorstep with a dying Anti-Mega Man? Or does the ending happen slightly differently, yet similarly? Anti.
What about the uncles, huh? We've got aunties everywhere, but where are the uncles?
I don't know. You didn't write it.
The crux of all this is Ramoon, and if it gets an anti-version itself. And that one's really hard, because the whole story revolves around the global blackout, and it being a significant threat to all life, robotic and otherwise. So how do you flip that on its head? How do you make a benevolent Ramoon and a benevolent Dr. Wily a threat that needs to be taken out, unless Anti-Ramoon is like providing free energy to the entire world? Everyone's suddenly off grid. And that's not good, because Anti-Dr. Light has significant stock in the power plants because the Robot Masters gobble up energy, and he needs that money. He needs that zenny. So, Mega Man, go destroy this one chance at world peace down in the rainforest. And all the Ramoon manufactured Robot Masters are there to defend Earth and this precious gift from beyond the stars.
This is just getting ridiculous.
Oh, it's been ridiculous. Well, I mean, this is the show, so...
Well, yeah, but...
And I guess ultimately the fights play out generally the same. Maybe Mega Man has some kind of corrupting software that gets the Robot Masters back in line for that big double Robot Master fight, and then Ramoon gets blown up, and the world goes back to the way it was, and Wily brings the damaged Mega Man back to Light Labs because he's got a trick up his sleeve. He's been trying to play the good guy this whole time. He's been trying to do what's right. That's gotten him nowhere. And here we are, this gift from the stars has been lost. So if he has to be the bad guy, okay, he's going to be sneaky. And the easiest way is to come bend the knee to Dr. Light. Here's your precious little murder boy back. Can we be friends again? And here we go, setting up for Mega Man 3.
No, it's anti-Mega Man 3. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Got a question from Ann Tails.
Aha.
This question is for you, Kyle, and also Ian. Is there a video game soundtrack you enjoy, but you have absolutely no interest in playing the game where the soundtrack originates?
I won't say like I have no interest in playing a game like that. I mean, not necessarily. But like the one that sprang to mind for me was the Persona series. Because like each one's like 100 zillion gajillion hours.
Yeah.
And they're all very long, and they're all JRPGs. They all have very, very good music, though. Like, the soundtracks are outstanding. I have been exposed to many a different track, especially from Persona 5, and some from Persona 4, and a handful from Persona 3. So the 3, 4, and 5 is like they're great soundtracks, but I'm like, I know nothing about the games, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to play these, but the soundtracks are amazing. So there we go. What about you, Ian?
I've been on a kick on it recently, but the Guilty Gear series. Because nothing against it. I have great esteem for it, artistically, musically, but I'm not a fighting game guy. I don't enjoy traditional fighting games. It's not my cup of tea. So I'm not really going to throw myself against that wall repeatedly, but the music is just one of the many facets of that mad, crazy gemstone that is Guilty Gear.
The thing about Guilty Gear is that it's like the fighting game for fighting game players. Like, it is like practically impenetrable if you're not a fighting game. If you're not already into fighting games and know how they work and understand how they function, you're kind of up a creek without a paddle playing Guilty Gear. It's a very difficult. It's definitely like along the more difficult lines of the fighting game genre, but man, the music is outstanding.
Well, fun fact, my youngest brother's actually going to be going to EVO to compete in Guilty Gear.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang.
He doesn't have high aspirations, but he's going, so more power to him.
Hey, you know what? That's awesome. Hey, going to EVO, that's big enough as it is, man. But,
yeah.
Jeez. That's, Guilty Gear is freaking... It's one of those games where it's like even fighting gamers are like looking at it like, well.
Watch, I pick it up and that's the one that clicks with things. Oh yeah, okay, click, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, probably not. It's hard. It's hard. Comic the Hedgehog has a question. When you say welcome to the BumbleKast, what do you mean? Do you mean to wish us welcome? Or do you mean we're welcome whether we want to be or not? Or do you mean to say that you feel welcome on this particular episode? Or that it is an episode to be welcome on?
Oh, you're welcome whether you want to be or not. You are here. And you're going to be welcome. You're going to enjoy it. Sit down and listen.
We're going to have fun.
Mandatory fun.
Yes, absolutely. The fun never ends until we say so. And even then. Here's one from FMS Draws. So, continuing that old X and Zero are in the classic timeline thought, when Wily inevitably pops up with his latest scheme, just how sideways can it go given how strong X and Zero are?
I don't remember us touching on this premise. Are we working under the idea of X and Zero as they are in the X timeline, just kicking about normal classic era?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's
it's like if they ended up, I think it's like if Light didn't put X to sleep for 30 years and Wily let Zero also go out at the same time. I don't know exactly. I don't remember.
Well, that's very different, though, because then you have an X with absolutely no personality training and you have crazy murder bot Zero.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
yeah, those are very
okay. Let's just go based. Let's go based on the like X and Zero as we know them, heroic guys, but who are back in time. Let's go with that. That's probably easier.
That's the funnier option because
yes,
it boils down to X going, I really don't want to fight these guys. And Zero going, I'll do it.
True.
And X is like, could you leave him at least in a functioning state, please? And they're like, yeah, sure. They're not that big of a threat.
Leave them intact.
Rock's over in the corner. I can do it too. And X is like, oh yeah, you absolutely can do it, champ. But you've done a lot. So how about, we just sit down and play video games and Zero will handle this. And Zero's just like walking through all the enemy fire because his armor is so advanced and precision cutting with the Z-Saber and taking out every single man he comes across. Doesn't even need the copy data for any of them. Walks into Wily's castle, slaps whatever skull device is out of the air. Stop it. You're upsetting the kids.
He's just cheating. It's just cheating. And Wily's really
crawling back to his basement looking at prototype Zero going, what went wrong?
What happened? So what's funny though is it's if he messes with Zero back in the past, is that going to screw with Zero in the current existence? Like,
that's why just sitting there staring at prototype going, do I mess with him now and that causes the problem, or do I not do anything and that causes the problem?
Yeah.
Yes, you time paradox.
Oh no.
Quint over there stirring his coffee. Told you shouldn't have messed with time, stupid.
It's true.
Base absolutely hates it. Just like ninja jumps Zero every chance he gets. I'm the strongest robot. Hey, sure you are, buddy. You go on home now.
Zero giving Base head pats. Boom, boom. Good.
Wily, sword now. All right, fine.
All right. Speaking of Mega Man, here's one from Hero Squad. Mega Man versus a new Robot Master. It's Pepsi Man. How does it go? And what abilities does Rock get after?
Most of the stage is Rock navigating a fairly easy platforming section. And it just intercuts to various FMVs of Pepsi Man running him down, catching up. And then you enter into the boss chamber and Pepsi Man comes running in, misses Rock, hits the wall, and destroys himself.
Okay.
And then Mega Man gets the Pepsi Man power where you just say, Shwa! And all the robots on the screen are instantly refreshed and they don't feel like fighting anymore.
Perfect. Mega Man 4 TV game. Chrysalis has a question. Hey, Ian and Kyle, just wanted to ask you all's thoughts on Deltarune so far. Thanks.
Love it. Really enjoyed it. And not that I've delved deeply into the alternate paths because I always go the good boy route. I cannot bring myself to go the darker routes. The level of variation is staggering. Like just how different things can be depending on which way you go with stuff is kind of terrifying. And there are more episodes to come. So I don't know how he's going to juggle all those variables. But I have complete faith that Toby Fox and his team, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Having gotten a little taste from watching some playthroughs, here and there. I gotta say, I love the Queen, and Spamton is the standout character for sure, by far. But all the characters are wonderful, just like Undertale. I mean, it's still just Toby continuing to fire on all cylinders. Like, I don't know how that guy does it, but yeah, it's a wonderful game.
And I've heard some folks be a little disappointed that it is the Undertale cast again, just kind of remixed. And I understand that in so far as, it's a new game, you would want a new experience. But I feel like the usage of them thus far is a very calculated play on expectations, some more on the nose than others.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's coming to a head eventually, that it is purposeful. It's not just reusing assets for the sake of nostalgia and the easy bait. There's something larger at work here. I don't know what it is, and I'm kind of eager for the rug to be pulled out from under me. You're going to get me. I can't wait for the gotcha. Come on.
Toby's going to get you. It's what he does.
I mean, the very beginning of the game is a character customization, and it gets thrown out the window because what you do doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is going to be the thesis of the game overall, but I don't know how yet, especially with so much variation in progression. So, also, I remember him seeming to be like apologetic that the next episodes will actually have to cost money. And it's like, dude, you should have been charging from the get-go. Let me give you the money.
I was going to say, you could have made serious cash. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't need the money. Maybe he doesn't want it. He doesn't want our dirty money. He doesn't know where it's been. Gross. It's worked out for him, though, honestly. Like, he's not selling the game, but the soundtrack is for sale and stuff like that. So, they're still there. There's still options. All right, Moreless has a question. Hey, Ian and Kyle, what are your favorite 2D platformers that aren't Sonic games? Personally, I love Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
I haven't got to the newer Donkey Kongs, and I feel bad about it.
I've played Returns, and it is excellent. It's a return to form. It's a little tough, but I found it manageable. Personally, I was very much happy with that as like a big Donkey Kong Country fan myself. I was like, yes, okay. Tropical Freeze, I still have not played yet, but I will get to it eventually.
Rystar comes to mind.
That's a good one.
And beyond that, I'm trying to think of other 2D platforms specifically. Oh, Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
But that kind of Kirby's just kind of a given.
It's not necessarily. Like what Kirby games though? Like, do you have any specifics in mind?
Most of them.
I mean, most of them are good. I mean,
I think I've played all of the platformers in some shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I still love Adventure. Like,
yeah, I think I played the GBA remaster, Nightmare in Dreamland, first before the classic NES version, but that's effectively the same thing. It's just prettier.
Yeah.
I mean, Dreamland 2, Dreamland 3.
Yes.
Squeak Squad.
Planet Robobot.
The one, Canvas Curse. Didn't play the sequel, I think, but...
Mass Attack?
Didn't play Mass Attack, which I think is like the one Kirby game that everyone's like, not that great.
Was 64 2D?
2.5. I mean, everything was rendered in 3D models, but you were pretty much on a linear path.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Okay.
So, like, even if you were, behind Kirby and Kirby is running down the corridor rather left to right, you're still basically just running left to right. It's the camera's behind you.
Okay.
So you can argue it. But I would say it's basically a 2D platformer effectively.
Sure. Well, I have a lot as a 2D platformer connoisseur. I love me some 2D platformers. Got to give a big shout out to DuckTales, the NES version, and DuckTales Remastered. Love them both dearly. I mean, can't go wrong with Shovel Knight, of course.
Oh, why did I not think of Shovel Knight? Shame.
Not go wrong with Shovel Knight.
Shame.
And come on, Ian. Also, what about Mega Man X? Come on.
See, when they say that you've played, I'm thinking to completion.
Okay.
I have legitimately lost to Chill Penguin. I am terrible at all Mega Man games. It is pathetic.
Well, at least you're honest.
I have not played Mega Man. I have failed at Mega Man.
Well, it's a good thing you just could watch other people play it for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mega Man is not easy. But Mega Man X is just like, oh, it's so good. It's like I don't know. It feels like the classic Mega Man formula polished to a mirror sheen. Like it's just so good. And of course, my personal favorite Castlevania has got to be Bloodlines for the Genesis. That is a fantastic game.
Do the Castlevanias count as platformers?
Yes, absolutely.
I know you platform in it, but there's more. There's that search action element to it. Like, would you count Metroid as a platformer?
Yes, but this is not Metroidvania. This is regular Castlevania. This is left to right. No leveling up, no grinding, no backtracking. This is classic Castlevania.
Oh,
this is
I rescind my critique.
Pre Symphony of the Night. The only other game like that, I guess, is Castlevania 2. But Castlevania 1, 3, Bloodlines, 4, Rondo, Dracula X. I want to say all those, Adventure and Belmont's Curse on Game Boy. Those are all traditional 2D platformer style, left to right linear games.
Wow, fake fan exposed. Beg your pardon.
Yes. Castlevania 2 had elements of it, but it was very unpolished and very early on in that sort of style of gameplay. So they switched back for Castlevania 3 to a traditional linear platformer. Mostly linear. So really, there's like branching paths, but... Huh?
Symphony of the Night is where it really took off?
Symphony of the Night was really the start of the... truly the start of the Metroidvania style, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I gotta mention 6Vs or VVVVVVVVVV or Vs. I don't know. It depends on the day when you ask the developer what the name of the game is. But that's a tricky game, but man, the music is so good. And then the classic, big one, Mario 3. So how do I choose between Mario 3 and Mario World? Well, I like Mario 3 just a tiny bit better. But, I mean, can't go wrong with either one of them.
I mean, one has a rideable dinosaur, Kyle.
I know. I wanted to have the rideable dinosaur in the first game, but, well, the first Super Mario game, but couldn't do that, apparently. So, they finally did it for World. But, yeah, those are some of my favorite 2D platformers. I could probably go on and talk about and list like hundreds of them, but, you know, I think that's good enough. Nikki Rabbit has a question. Hasbro is desperate. They have no idea what to do with the Power Rangers franchise, and after randomly picking names from a hat, you, Ian, are now in charge of it. So how do you revitalize the brand? A movie, more emphasis on the comics, finally adapting Takgur? I don't know what that is.
Takgur? Okay.
What is Takgur?
I thought my screen had loaded funny and there was some kind of weird Frogger Power Rangers crossover I wasn't aware of. But
No. Takgur. Oh, Takgur. It's the train. Okay. Yes, it's the Train Rangers. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Super Sentai Train. Yeah. I mean, that would be my plan, would be to adapt that. Like, what the heck? Come on. Kids love trains. What are you doing?
That is a big question. I think the first step would be just to look at the legacy of the Rangers. You know, what has been done so far, both, domestically, internationally, what resonated the most, what really took off, what didn't really click, and was that because of the time it was released or the execution, and just kind of get a good feel of what is the Rangers as a brand overall, whole kit and caboodle.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to distill that to its absolute core elements, which I think we all are already. It's cool teenagers in brightly colored costumes doing kung fu and also summoning giant robots. That's a given, but there's got to be a little bit more than that. There's got to be some meat on those bones. And not being super familiar with the franchise as a whole, I don't know if I could spin that right here and now. But I would imagine kind of start from scratch, not to say that throw everything out, pay homage where appropriate, but don't feel beholden to what's come before. Do a fresh take on the Rangers with a long-term goal in mind. We're going to start off with these 5, and they're piloting dinosaurs that are actually dinosaurs this time. I'm looking at you, pterodactyl, mastodon, saber-tooth tiger. Great, you're fine, lovely, but you're not dinosaurs. And see where you grow from there. Who tags in, who tags out? How do the Zords evolve? Why do the Zords evolve? Why do we bring in other elements? Do we start off with something a little more mundane with cars and trains and then move on into mythical and ancient creatures? I don't know. Who are the enemies and why does it escalate? And how do you escalate so that you have a reasonable progression and an end goal? Like, find an end this run of the franchise, let it go dormant for, I don't know, couple years, 5 years, and do it again so that the kids who grew up on it now have the nostalgia and you have something fresh for the new generation. Get them hooked all over again. Rinse, repeat.
I don't know. I just want Talker. I just want that. I want train rangers, trangers, as it were. Like, what the heck? Kids love trains. Put the trains in there. I don't care if they're not relevant to Western audiences so much. Not as relevant.
Give the trains a dinosaur theme. They're best of both worlds.
No, just give them trains. Just trains, man.
Tyrannosaurus tracks.
Kids love trains.
Traxeratops. It writes itself.
Pretty much. Okay, fine. Our last question before we take a break is from No Origin. After so many years, Marvel and DC recently announced they will be having another crossover by the end of this year. Let's settle this once and for all. Which universe are you guys more inclined with?
Well,
answer carefully, Ian. You're currently... There's currently a book releasing.
On this show, we pride ourselves on our honesty and transparency.
Yes.
So, growing up, I was mostly a Marvel kid, but DC gives me work every now and again, so I can't decide.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like the Marvel characters, there's a lot more Marvel characters that resonate more with me than DC characters, but there really is a lot to love about them both. So, I don't know.
Comic wise, I read more Marvel, but animation wise, DC blew them out of the water.
Yeah, typically.
And aged better since the 90s.
Yeah.
Movie wise, I mean, Marvel I enjoyed generally more, but they also put out so much more than DC. I don't feel like it's a really fair comparison. What is it, 30 movies versus 5? Or is it more than that?
Well, I mean, depending on how far back you go, you could say DC's got enough movies, but they're not all in the same continuity, and sometimes they have many years between them. And
no, but at the same time, like the Keaton Batman and the Reeves Superman were so iconic that they're still felt today.
Yes.
And it's arguable if the MCU will have that kind of staying power. It's not been long enough to decide. So, which is better, the quality or the quantity?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Raimi Spider-Man is pretty iconic.
Yeah.
That seems to have some staying power. Granted, it's still at least a decade newer than even Batman 89, but still.
That is so weird to think about.
But, I mean, the DC animated stuff is just, classic. It's amazing, but, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, why not both? Why
exactly.
not both?
Have your peanut butter and chocolate.
Yes. Delicious. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more on this episode of the BumbleKast.
We're the bee and the berry. I'm the bee.
Straubs. No, I'm the bee.
Oh, my bad. We can cut that, right?
No, we can cut that.
Okay. We're the bee and the berry.
I'm the bee.
And I'm Strawberry.
And The Bee and the Berry is an irregularly scheduled podcast where we talk all things Sonic, writing fan fiction, and fan creation.
We snoop around at fan events, review the latest and hottest Sonic content, and host interviews with our fellow Sonic fan creators.
You know, just girly things.
And hey, if you want, you can totally send us any discussion topics or questions you'd like us to talk about, and we might answer them.
Or we might not.
But hey, you never know. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, and YouTube at The Bee the Berry.
Okay, we're running out of time here. Gotta grow fast.
Ciao!
We're back, and we got a question from Onyxodon. After the success of your Batman series and its spin-off, Disney decides to hire you to write a new Star Wars series with you and Kyle as writers and actors. The requirements are that the series be set during the time of the Empire, with Ian's character being a commander of the ISB, the Empire's version of the CIA, in case you don't know, and Kyle being his second-rate protocol droid, KY-13. What is the main premise, who is the main antagonist, and when do Grand Moff Aaliyah and her trusty astromech J3N come in to complicate matters?
All right, so I am the ISB agent set to find corruption within the Empire and root out all those filthy rebel scumbags.
You're a commander of the ISB. You're not an agent.
Yeah. Well, I like to be very involved with my work.
Okay, yeah, I mean...
And I am absolutely inept.
You're like the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., except not good at your job.
Yeah, this is a pure nepotism position. I failed my way upwards. Every decision I make is wrong. And you, my faithful but often overlooked droid, does your best to shore things up. When I, make a critically inane order, you try to rephrase it in such a way that it might quite work. Not so much because you're loyal to the Empire, but if I go, you go, and you're out for job security. But you can't sass me back because you've been programmed not to.
This is too real.
And just when you think, the rebels are in trouble now because here comes Grand Moff Aaliyah and her droid, turns out they're actually rebel sympathizers. They never wanted the old Republic to fall, so they're the entire reason I still have my job. They come in, they run interference just enough that I get to keep my position. I think I'm doing good job. And that's why the Death Star blows up.
Okay, so this is a comedy series then.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Maybe sometimes a dark comedy, but a comedy all the same.
Perfect. I approve. All right, here's one from Rabbit Haver. Ian, you are, in my mind at least, the preeminent expert on Mega Man and Mega Man adjacent topics.
Yeah.
I know maybe two entire things about Mega Man, and one of them is that he's blue. The other thing I know is that he is, according to some scholars, a man of some sort. So I come to you, my good Mega Man, to ask, which game would you recommend to someone who wants to get into Mega Man? I want to understand the Mega Man questions on my favorite podcast, and also understand 2 or 3 more things about Puppy. Hi, Bestie. For reference, I do not own a Switch, just a gaming laptop, a first-generation Xbox One, and a new 3DS.
Oh, boy.
This is tough. Well, Base is a fish. No, Base is not a fish.
Like, if you want to get into it narratively, I would almost say start with, 3 or 4, because you don't really get a lot of story in 1 and 2. At least the original versions. And I don't think you have access to the powered up remakes. And those are already a kind of, oddly revisionist take on the classic stuff. I don't know if I could recommend that as like the first taste of Mega Man. It's very much its own flavor within the context of what came before. The easiest jump on point out of it all, I would think, would maybe be X, Mega Man X1. The mechanics are the most accessible. The themes are the most clear. The story is the most simple. It's aged very well. There is a narrative, but it's not terribly dense. If you get a feel for it, you can go on to the later X titles or go back to classic and see how the mechanics have grown. This isn't to besmirch the Zero series or the ZX series or Legends, but those I feel are so far down the timeline and become their own types of games that it's hard to say, you want to get into Mega Man? I'll play those too, because they come in the context of so much that came before, even if they are standalone. I'm contradicting myself. I'm just saying, if you play Mega Man Legends 1, which I don't know if you can anymore at all, if you could, I don't feel like that would be a good representation of Mega Man on a whole. Comment below and tell me why I'm wrong, but I would think that if you start with Mega Man X, that's where classic evolved to, so you can appreciate the older games and how they've grown since. And it's the foundation where a lot of Mega Man Zero and Advent really iterated on it and went nuts. And then Legends is its own little special thing off to the side. Not any better or worse. It's very much its own thing.
I'm going to be bold and say that if you want to get into the series narratively, read the Archie Mega Man comics. Just maybe go there. But also, like practically all of the Mega Man games, very nearly, aside from the Legend series, sadly, are on like practically every modern platform with the Legacy collections. So I would say maybe wait for a sale and pick up maybe the first Mega Man Legacy collection and give it a try. It's got modern features, save states, rewinds, stuff like that. It's on all three of the platforms you mentioned, so PC, Xbox, and 3DS. 3DS only got the first collection, sadly, so the one with the first 6 games did not get the second collection, which is silly, considering 3DS would very easily be able to handle those, but oh well. Yeah, I think maybe just try starting at or near the beginning and see if you enjoy the games. They're very much precision-based platformer shoot-em-ups, so don't get discouraged. Keep going. They're not easy, but they're very satisfying, and the music is just wonderful. You'll be playing through, and you'll start a new stage and be like, oh, this music is freaking awesome. And then you'll beat that stage, and then you go on to the next stage, and you'll be like, oh, this music is freaking awesome. It's just like that over and over because, the music is freaking awesome. So, but I would say that if you want to get into more, if you want to understand more of the things we talk about on this show, you probably want to read the Mega Man Archie comics. That would be the main thing I would say, personally. Question from Soccer Cot. If Ian were to do a Mega Man X Looney Tunes crossover, how would he do it?
As silly as possible.
Yeah, what era of Mega Man would you use for this?
Keep it classic. So
classic, okay.
Lighthearted.
And not Ruby Spears?
No.
Okay, fine.
Find some excuse to use a lot of the characters as a basis for the Robot Masters this time around. I don't know if Sylvester Man or Fud Man really rolls off the tongue, but the general idea. Or maybe just have the various villainous characters conspire with Wily to disastrous ends. Wily's desperate for parts, so he contacts Acme. They send their favorite liaison, Wily Coyote.
Oh,
super genius. And you've got Bugs Bunny palling around with Mega Man saying, "Don't worry, Doc. They're going to take care of themselves half the time." But let's see how it goes.
Oh, no.
You got Marvin the Martian locking him in a room, going to just blow it all up, and Bugs helps him escape. Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be a Mega Man shattering kaboom.
Pew, 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 pew. Wait, no, that's X. That's a sound effect from X. Never mind.
Do you go with Crazy Daffy or Greedy Daffy in this scenario? Because there's enough antagonists to go around.
Yeah.
Why Daffy just trolling one of the robot masters into its own destruction would be funny in its own right.
Yeah. I'm just imagining this. Like, does Mega Man get the Bugs Buster?
Oh, God. It's blue.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Oof. All right. Soul Slayer 7 has a question. In the past here on the BumbleKast, there have been 1 or 2 requests where Ian would get to sing. I was wondering if you'd be willing to sing the DK rap for us. Maybe even do a BumbleKast parody of the DK rap if you can. Kyle can join in too.
Okay, so
normally we wouldn't do this, but you can talk this one, so
here's the thing. I can't rap.
I mean,
this has been established. I'm terrible at it.
To be fair, neither could the guys in the original song.
No. But instead of trying and failing to rap, I think the most appropriate thing to do here, in true BumbleKast fashion, is to do the DK rap in spoken word.
Yeah. Okay. Apparently this has happened before, but you know what? I don't care.
Well,
we're doing it again.
Do it again.
You're not going to stop us.
Here we go. So they're finally here, performing for you. If you know the words, you can join in to put your hands together, if you want to clap, as we take you through this monkey rap. DK, Donkey Kong. He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail. His coconut guns can fire in spurts. If he shoots you, it's gonna hurt. He is bigger, faster, and stronger too. He is the first member of the DK crew. DK, Donkey Kong. DK, Donkey Kong is here. This goes on much longer than I remember. I don't think I want to put us through all this.
Oh, it goes on it's very long. It's very long.
I think that is more than enough for all of us. I think you all at home agree.
And then there's Chunky. He's dead.
You know it's bad when mid-riff, I realize the joke is well in the ground.
All right. At least you got to give us like the last 2 stanzas here, the last 2 lines. Give us those.
Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, orange, and coconut shells. Ah, yes.
Yes. Come on.
Kind of tempted to go back through with that bad Fraser Crane I do.
Come on, Cranky. Take it to the fridge. I don't remember it being fridge. I thought it was bridge. Yeah, well. Here's one from Spoiler 1001. Would you rather spend a year with a Furby trapped in your wall, slowly learning to speak, or a completely visible and silent Furby that moves through your home when no one is watching?
Oh, both of those are horrible.
What do we want living in the walls of the Bumble compound, Ian? Although one is not living in the walls, but it might as well be.
Now, as someone who has grown up with cats, having something small and furry be in a place you were not anticipating and probably under your feet is something I'm used to, so I'll go with that. And it's not even going to like yowl when I step on it. It's just going to kind of crunch or whatever. So I'll go with that.
What is the Furby saying? I think that's what's it learning to say?
Well, if it's living in the walls of the Bumble compound, learning off of us over time, you're just going to wake up one day and distantly muffled but still audible. Welcome, BumbleKast.
Oh, no.
Me horse, Ian Flynn BumbleKrew. Co-horse, Kyle. Just a...
Turns out Stitch was a Furby all along.
It brings to mind somebody who got an entirely too many Furbies and hotwired them into an electric organ.
Wait, is this real?
Oh, this was real. I watched the video of him, soldering wires together, and he just had this entire wall of singing Furbies connected to his electric organ.
The Furby organ. Holy crap, this is amazing. Wow. Ingenuity of people to create something so cursed. Outstanding. Wow. I'm gonna have to watch this. All right, Stephen A. has a question. So, Ian, you did college on Shakespeare. What's your favorite Shakespeare plays? Why do you love Falstaff so much?
A Midsummer Night's Dream is, right up there, but that's kind of like everybody's favorite. That's low-hanging fruit. I kind of like The Farce of A Much Ado About Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's just some kind of whimsy to it, and the way it all comes together is satisfying. To me, at least.
Yeah, I definitely think his comedies were much more just better than his tragedies. That said, Macbeth is pretty wild.
Macbeth kind of takes a minute to find its footing, but you need to do that setup for everything to properly fall apart.
Yeah. It's freaking just like, what is going on here? Holy crap. This is, wow. Yeah.
And I feel like Julius Caesar is one of the most quoted ones, even if folks don't know what they're referencing.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, this time of year, everything lights up. Oh, beware the Ides of March. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to buy that knife rack that's shaped like Caesar?
Or you're just going to have a salad. Whatever. Strawberry has a question. Hey, Queens, let's try something different. Ian, Kyle, with an open mind and an open heart, grab a pen and paper and draw your own Muppet heads to the best of your ability, taking a minute tops. And remember to show us your work when you're done. Go.
Well, those of you who are watching this on YouTube and not listening to it through the other purely audio versions, here you go. This is what we do.
Here it is. Enjoy. Here's one from the Cyberspace Coco. In a previous question, I threw some shade to Bubble Man, and I want to apologize. I actually like Bubble Man. He's just an easy target for jokes sometimes. If there's any Robot Master I don't like, it's Ring Man. I hate his stage for being a gauntlet of annoying mini-bosses. Anyway, Ian and Kyle, is there any Robot Masters you guys don't care for? Any you don't like for their stage or design?
Well, I mean, hard for me to judge by stage since I can't get through them.
Yeah. I feel like some of the weaker designs in the series originate in Mega Man 8. I'm just not really feeling like half of them. I don't know why. Clown Man, I don't know. Cloud Man's kind of weird. Tango Man's pretty cool, though. Although they're a bit more Mega Man X-like than they are classic.
I feel like we've touched on this before. It's like they feel a little over-designed.
Yeah. Swordman has too many colors.
And I remember this was part of the discourse back when Quake Woman came out. It's like, she doesn't look like a classic character. It's like, well, here we go. We can pick from X and find some very classic looking NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can pick from Mega Man 8. And these are very X looking, almost Mavericks looking Robot Masters. So where do you draw the line?
Yeah. I mean, 7 has some of those too, but I feel like 7 still fits a little better. Then again, it could also just be that I'm like, Mega Man 7 fanboy because it was the first Mega Man I ever played. And I still have a soft spot for it.
Which game was it where Dr. Light's like, here's your new incredible weapon. It's a ball and you can kick it.
Mega Man Soccer?
No. Was it 7 or 8?
Yeah, it must have been 8 because it's not 7. Yeah, it was 8 apparently.
I mean, maybe it was a cool way to show off the physics within the game, but I mean, you already have a flying dog. It's really hard to top that, but here's a pink rubber ball and you kick it.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a robot master. That's
that's just a weapon thing. I'm gonna say, like, I don't know, Clown Man. It's not even a good clown. Like, I don't have a problem with clowns. It's just like Clown Man specifically is just like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. I don't know. Personally, I'm just not a fan of 8 overall. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's never really appealed to me. 8. Yeah.
Even some of the weirder designs, I'll find some reason to love just because they are a little funky.
Yes.
I say that Starman is not my favorite. I feel like, I don't know, it's a little too clunky for me. You either need to go whole hog with the weirdness like Charge Man or Strike Man, or you need to stay humanoid like Gemini Man or even Airman. Starman seems to be like caught in the middle of various directions, and I don't know.
Starman's just a guy with a big star on his chest. I don't know. I think he looks kind of cool. He looks goofy, but he's a Mega Man character. Of course, he looks goofy. That's kind of their whole point.
I know. And like, I don't mind the stars on the gauntlets or the boots or the forehead. It's just that big, like,
star chest piece. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's going to get in the way you're walking. It's going to get in the way of your arms. It's like a placard, come eat at Wiley's, but it's a star. I don't know.
There was a really good Starman at MagFest, though. I don't know how they were walking around with that big old star on their chest, but they were doing it. Yeah. Here's this one from Twilord. This is a bad idea. I shouldn't do this. This is a bad idea. I shouldn't do this. But wouldn't it be really neat if I made it so that my game was generated from an easy-to-expand combination of .txt, .json, .dae, and .png files? Do you even need to understand what that means to recognize this self-destructive creative impulse?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't do it, Twilord. Don't do it. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be very, very sad. This is just no. Don't do that. Don't, especially JSON, please.
I'm no programmer, but text files and ping files are very different things, and those other two sound like programming languages, maybe. So how does that even work?
I mean, JSON files are just text files with stuff with JavaScript. No. I'm not really a programmer either, but I know enough. I've messed with enough .json files to know this is dangerous. Do not. You will regret it later on. And our last question from Vineclad. Hasbro brings you on as a head writer for a Dinobots TV show, and it's being animated by Flying Bark Productions. How's it go?
All right, so welcome to Grimlock and his amazing adventures with his amazing friends.
Yeah. Saw this coming.
We're importing Dinobot from Beast Wars and giving him a proper name. Always bugged him that he was Dinobot when he's a Velociraptor. You could have called him so many cool things. Call him freaking Dinobot. Dinobot is a collection of amazing dinos, okay? Not just one.
You could have just, you wouldn't just called him Raptorbot or something. It would have been fine, but...
Swiftclaw, Razorfoot, anything, come on. Facebiter, something, not just Dinobot.
Blue, wait, hold on.
And it would just be the Dinobots wrecking crap. You introduce them having come to this new world or base or moon or location, and maybe they're a little grumpy with each other because they got big personalities. That's just how a Dinobot do. And then you spend most of the episode establishing what the Decepticons are plotting, what their grand plan is, what the subtle subplots are between them all. Really build a compelling narrative here. And then the Dinobots get wind of it and wreck it. Just an overwhelming force. The last 15 minutes of it. Well, no, it's a 20-minute episode, isn't it? Yeah, the last 10 minutes of every episode. You get 10 minutes of plot and then 10 minutes of the Dinobots just destroying things.
Yes.
Rinse and repeat for 17 seasons.
Are we going to finally have something that's been like 35 years in the making and have a crossover with Robosaurus?
I mean, why not?
Bring Robosaurus in. Come on. It's been way too long.
Bring in one of those like giant combiner robots. I forget the exact term. Transformer fans are just glaring at me. I can feel it. One of the combiner robots where it's like 5 or 6 of them that turn into one gigantic unstoppable behemoth. And then the Dinobots just combined into some kind of chimera dragon and tear it apart. Just do it.
Yeah.
Have that thing be called Dinobot. There you go.
There we go. I think that's a good place to end this episode of the BumbleKast.
I mean, it's certainly a high note for me.
Yes. I mean, that's a high note for me too. I'm into it. I'm down.
Hasbro, give me a call. Until then, you can ask your questions and support the show by going to patreon.com/BumbleKast, ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or by becoming a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, understand Grimlock's supremacy, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Transform and roll out into dinosaur mode, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. Help me, Ian.
Apparently my opinion of Power Rangers was just too powerful.
Maybe, although you're coming through your laptop now.
No, I just told it to do this one.
Well, it lied.
You stupid. No, it says I'm doing through the right one.
Why do you sound so... You sound...
Check.
There you are.
It's the same bloody microphone. Whatever.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Hold on. I need to open the link and get my glasses out.
Oh, okay. Well, it starts with walnuts.
Oh, just start with that there? Okay.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
Oh, do you know, have you played Dino Crisis?
No, I know of it.
Okay. It might
Basically
be
Resident Evil with dinosaurs.
Why is pretty much you'd probably be too freaked out by it to really play through it, but
I don't know. The fact that it's dinosaurs takes the edge off a little.
I don't know, man. There's one point where a freaking T-Rex blasts through a window.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrifying.
For me, it would be less the horror jump scare angle and more my own personal perfectionism.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Not wanting to shoot the dinosaurs. I don't want to hurt the dinosaurs. They can eat my face. They have full tum-tums now. Go have nappy poos. Be good.
Yeah, well, all the scientific inaccuracies would be obvious because,
there's that too. But
30 years old, 30 plus. And also it's fiction and blah, blah, blah.
I fall back on the one line they had in one of the recent Jurassic Parks, and as bad as those movies are, Henry Wu says, they don't even look like they're supposed to. We've just made them the way you want to, so they're a product. And I was like, there we go. That's your hand-wavy explanation. That's all you need for me. It's not real dinosaurs. It's mad science movie monsters that you pay a premium to go look at and then scream when they get loose. That's fine. I will take that coat of paint. And do the same thing with Dino Crisis. It's like, oh, we wanted to bring back dinosaurs, but we did it on the cheap, and now some of them don't look right. And they also really, really, really thirst for human blood. Whoopsies.
Screwed that one up.
Is it really historically inaccurate for the T-Rex to say fee, fi, fo, fum? Yes. Is it terrifying because it's coming through the window and taking your legs off at the same time? Also, yes.
Yes.
And I'm really surprised that there hasn't been a remaster or another pass at that type of game. Because it seems like a slam dunk. It's survival horror and it's dinosaurs. This doesn't seem like rocket science.
I mean, there's been 4 games, technically. I guess.
Were there 4? Wow. I thought there were only 2.
No, there's 3. There's 3 main. There's 3 in the main series, and then there's a spin-off called Dino Stalker, which is a light gun game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the third one was an Xbox game, I believe, that was kind of panned. It was not nearly as beloved as 1 and 2. So, but they did get recently re-released. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Dino Stalker. Just have a velociraptor outside the window. That restraining order won't work on me, Deborah.
It's true. It's true.
Life finds a way, and so do I.
No.
Oh, God, the pepper spray.
It's a PS2 game only, apparently. Interesting.